So every once in a while, Chris, we talk. It's funny. It's so weird how the landscape of pop culture has changed, right? I remember when we were doing whether it was AMC or Collider or whatever it was. If a Star Wars story hit, that was the headline. That was the headline. You put that as the thumbnail. You talk about that. That's the first thing you discuss. You get everybody on board. It is our sixth story today, and I didn't even think I was going to even want to cover it at all, but nonetheless. It's still a story, so I guess we'll talk about it. And that is apparently Star Wars, the next movie, will make franchise history in the most surprising way. Molly Brizzle over at Screen Rant says Star Wars is already making history with its next movie, The Mandalorian and Grogu. But this one important franchise milestone is especially surprising and a very welcome one. Prior to the release of the Mandalorian TV show, characters who debuted in Star Wars animation rarely ever got a chance to appear in live action. Mandalorian Season 2, however, changed that with key characters like Ahsoka Tano and Bo-Katan finally getting to enter the live action realm. Anything seemed possible for animated Star Wars characters. Let me rewrite that. Hold on. Let me rewrite that. Finally getting to enter the live action realm. Anything seemed possible for Dave Filoni's animated Star Wars characters. Anybody that did anything else outside of Dave Filoni's will never see the light of day. Now, in The Mandalorian and Grogu, Star Wars is bringing out one of its main animated characters to the big screen for the first time. But what about Thrawn? It's in a book. The Mandalorian and Grogu is bringing Zeb to the big screen. Zeb is one of the main characters of Star Wars Rebels. He's headed to the big screen in The Mandalorian and Grogu. Zeb made his live-action debut in The Mandalorian Season 3 with a brief appearance alongside Captain Tarsin Teva at the New Republic's Adelphi Outpost. Zeb isn't the first animated Star Wars character to hit the big screen. That honor goes to Saw Gerrera in Rogue One, a Star Wars story. He is, in fact, the main character from an animated TV show to be featured in a Star Wars film. Saw was only a part of a brief arc in Star Wars The Clone Wars, whereas Zeb was a core part of the Rebels crew. While the nature of Zeb's role in The Mandalorian and Grogu is still unknown, it's likely he'll be working quite closely with Din, which makes him a crucial addition to the movie's cast. Animation is more important to Star Wars now than ever before. 20 years after Lucasfilm animation first began, Star Wars animated stories are more important than ever before. Zeb will have a key role in the Star Wars next movie. Ahsoka Season 2 will continue to bring animated characters and their stories to the forefront. Dave Filoni's culmination movie will give all these characters a chance to shine on the big screen. All these big modern Star Wars stories have a foundation in animation. Without it, shows like Ahsoka would never have been made. From the Clone Wars to Rebels, to Star Wars to Bad Batch, these animated TV shows are crucial to the entire franchise, as proven by The Mandalorian. Grogu. Okay, so Zeb being in this movie in general, good for the story. Good that he's finally getting a place to shine. Oh man, I'm so happy Nutrafol is back. I love Nutrafol. I've been using Nutrafol. It's got to be 2.5 years now. It is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand and is trusted by over 1.5 million people. You can feel great about what you're putting in your body since Nutrafol hair growth supplements are backed by peer-reviewed studies and NSF content certified, the gold standard in third-party certification for supplements. So a lot of supplements, they rely solely on ingredient studies. Nutrafol clinically tests final formulations to ensure that their efficiency uses a variety of hair measurement tools like hair counts and pull tests to access growth, quality, shedding, and texture. I remember when we got them years ago. Brett and I were like, all right, let's see. I'm getting older. Let's see if they can help us out. And boy, did they. It's been working amazing. You guys have been commenting on my picture that I posted last week on Instagram. You see what's going on. You got to see thicker, stronger, faster growing hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping. You got to go to Nutrafol.com. You got to enter that promo code Kristian. Find out why Nutrafol is the best-selling hair growth supplement brand at Nutrafol.com. Nutrafol.com. But you got to use that promo code Kristian. That is Nutrafol.com, promo code Kristian. You will not be disappointed. Tell them we sent you.
I'm coming from this from I love Steve Bloom so much, who voices Garzeb. Yeah. And so that's mostly why I'm like, yes, he deserves to be in this. Sure. And I want this so badly. I definitely want to see how he fits in here. And I do like the idea of it, we do have all these kind of like isolated stories that have slowly started to coming together, right? Rebels and Ahsoka, we started having those come into live action. And I have been wondering about what happened with some of other friends there. So I think having him here is pretty cool because we've just had that one quick glimpse of him in live action.
Right.
And so it would make sense to not just throw this character away as like a little Easter egg, but to have him actually show up and actually have some agency and get some stuff done, because he's a really fun and compelling character.
He is, and I hope that they actually. But here's what I hope doesn't happen: is that when you have, like, you looked at Ahsoka and what they did with Sabine, right? Sabine did not evolve at all from where she was as a character in Rebels as a teenager to whatever it was 10 years later, or however many years it was when she was a young adult. She acted the same exact way, and it's like you can't. It's not that season anymore. You've got to move past. Now, granted, Zeb was an adult. I just hope he stays true to who he was in the series. I loved him in the series. He was great. Worked really well. It just couples to. It furthers my thought process though on, and that's why I said that rewriting the article. It's like, this is where people say, "What do you mean about Filoni's Star Wars?" It's Filoni's Star Wars now. It's not just Star Wars anymore. It's like, oh, well, he transitioned. He was one of the first animated to do it because it's Filoni's character. Ahsoka got her own series. Zeb is going to come in here and be a big character. The freaking the bounty or the Jabba's son is going to be one of the people. It's Filoni's Star Wars now. And it's not just you ventured off for a second in Andor, and what happened? Everybody lost their minds and said, "Do more of this." And hopefully Kinberg sticks to what they're saying, and they're gonna do more of that. But this could be fun. Zeb is a fun character, and Favreau is the one who's going to be directing it. Yes. So maybe it works. I don't know. We'll see. But Filoni's got his mitts into this thing. Until he lets them loose a little bit, we're just getting animated Star Wars, even in live action.
Well, and that's why I'm hoping that we have, the Ryan Gosling Star Wars really just take off, that with him and Matt Smith and everything. I hope that having new original characters really, really helps, and that we go, yeah, we do love this because we love the world of Star Wars, not just the characters we know. We want to meet more people in this galaxy far, far away. Because this is usually my problem. It's a whole ass galaxy. Why do I keep seeing the same people? It's not North Hollywood. I'm not going to run into everybody I've ever known or dated. I should have some new people show up here.
That's exactly right. And it's like, you got to explore past just the Filoniverse. You got to explore past and do other things. And I think that's what they're trying to do with like Starfighter inside of the movies. That's what they're trying to do with this new trilogy with Kinberg. And they're and we'll see if it works. But the TV shows are still staying in that aspect. But I'm not sure.
He's a cool character to bring in, though, because we're not dealing with, a Skywalker saga. We're not dealing with, any kind of Jedi. I think bringing him in is a cool, calculated choice. If we are going to pick from, the pantheon of Filoni characters, this is one that I went, okay, I could see how he could get into the fold here.
Right. I'm so curious that you mentioned, Filoni's movie that he's supposed to do, and we haven't really heard any mention of it. I think they're waiting because they're going to see how Mandalorian and Grogu does. They're going to wait to see how Ahsoka season 2 does, because Ahsoka season 1 didn't do great in the ratings. It did fine. And Mandalorian season 3 was easily the most panned out of the 3 seasons. So the question is, are people still going to care about this storyline? And if those two things don't deliver, I think you'd be a moron to say, yeah, Dave, go ahead and continue with that movie because nobody cares, but at least you should do it.
That's just throwing money away.
It's throwing money away. But the flip side of that is Mandalorian Grogu is going to be the first Star Wars movie in the theater since 2019. People like to see Star Wars movies in the theaters. So, and if it delivers in the way that season 1 and season 2 did, then maybe you get the hype going again. You go, oh, okay, they got this thing back on track. And then Ahsoka season 2 is he actually brought in people who can write. And you have people, I know they said that he wrote the whole thing, but hopefully he was receptive to having people come in to write it. I know what he did that I loved is he's doing locations, and not just the volume, which is great. I don't know if Mandalorian Grogu is going to do the same thing, but he is. So that's a positive. And maybe the writing's a little more detailed. Maybe we're not spending 25 to 30 minutes in an episode. Maybe we're spending 45 to 50, so we can actually get the detail of the character. And then, okay, give me a movie. But they got a lot to prove. Yeah. What do you guys think, man? You think this is the way to go? You like what he is doing with Zeb? Put your thoughts in there. Let us know.